Hello children, let's continue with part 2 of Cell the Unit of Life chapter. Last time we completed with the vacuoles, with the functions of vacuoles. Today we are going to start with mitochondria, plastids, ribosomes. Okay, so in lower classes we have already studied about mitochondria, plastids. We have come across these terms, right? Basically what we have learned about mitochondria, we have learned that it is acting as a powerhouse of the cell. Yes, then it produces energy in the form of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, right? And then if you have to go with the plastids you have learned what? There are three types of plastids. Composed of different pigments, pigment coloration, right? One is chloroplast, one is chromoplast, and one is leucoplast. Now when I talk about the chloroplast, it is the green color pigments, right? When I talk about the chromoplast, it is the colored plastids. When I talk about the leucoplast, it is colorless or white plastids, correct? And ribosomes you have learned where in the rough endoplasmic reticulum there is a presence of ribosomes which is attached, right? Which helps in the protein synthesis, okay? So let's go into the detail about all. Right, the first one, mitochondria. The mitochondria, which is also known as the powerhouse of the cell, as I told you earlier. So these were first discovered by Kolliker in 1880. Okay, and later in 1897, Benda gave the name mitochondria, singular mitochondrium. Okay, so where is the occurrence of this mitochondria? These occur in all cells except the RBC and prokaryotes. So in prokaryotes, the respiratory enzymes are present on the cell membrane instead. Fine. Now, if you have to go with the number, its number varies considerably and depends on the type of the organism and nature of activity of the cell. For example, if you have to give for liver cells, the number is what? 1000 to 1600. When you go for kidney, it's 300 to 400. So the cells with high energy requirements possess large number. Now when you talk about some oocytes, it requires 30,000. Okay. Now when I have to talk about the shape and the size, it varies a lot. Its width ranges from 0.6 to 2.0 nanometer and length from 5 to 10 nanometer. So the diameter does not exceed 1 nanometer. Okay. Now when you go with the shape, it is kind of a sausage shaped, but maybe a spiral, rod or spherical, elongated or cup shape you can say. Fine. Now when I have to talk about the structure specifically, if about the outer and the inner membrane, the outer membrane, it forms an uninterrupted outer boundary. So such molecules can diffuse through it. And the inner membrane, it is projected into the central space in the form of finger-like projections, which are known as cristae. Okay, we have learned it in 9th standard as well. The cristae increase the surface area and provide abundant space for metabolism. So this membrane is selectively permeable, meaning it only allows some sort of material to enter and exit the cell, right? Now when I have to talk about the functions of mitochondria, it acts as a site of respiration, that is in Krebs cycle, and contains all the enzymes which bring about oxidative phosphorylation, that is formation of ATP, which is required for all activities of the body. Okay, some enzymes are present in the outer membrane and some in the inner. And final steps of phosphorylation occur in the elementary particles which contain ATPase enzyme. And next is what? It helps in yolk formation during the development of ovum, right? Because in oocytes already there are how many? 30,000 almost. Okay, 30,000 of mitochondria which is present. It also forms middle piece of the sperm during sperm maturation. Now sperm has a structure, it has a head, middle piece and tail. So mitochondria is present in the middle piece of the sperm, okay, which helps in the maturation of the sperm. Next I have to talk about is plastids. As I already told you that plastids are of three types. One is chloroplast, chromoplast and leucoplast. Now if you have to compare between all the three, so chloroplast they carry photosynthesis, while chromoplasts are non-photosynthetic, leucoplasts are also non-photosynthetic. Now chloroplast, it contains chlorophyll, which is a green pigment. Okay, while chromoplast, it contains carotenoid pigments like carotene and xanthophyll, which give red, orange or yellow pigments other than green chlorophyll pigment, right? And leucoplasts are colorless as they lack any pigment, although they have the capacity to develop pigments when required. Okay, now when you talk about the chloroplast, it is found mainly in the leaves and green stem. Okay, it is found mainly in the leaves and the green stem. So they trap light energy for photosynthesis. When I talk about chromoplast, it gives color to fruits, tomato, carrot, flowers, and they also act as precursors of vitamin A in animal tissues. Now when I talk about leucoplast, abundant in storage organs like roots, seeds and young leaves. For example, a myeloplast stores starch, elioplast store oil and fats, and aleuroplast store proteins. Okay, so these are the types of leucoplast that I can give you: a myeloplast, elioplast and aleuroplast. The next is when I have to talk about the structure of the plastids. The plastids are bound by two membranes. Plastids contain their own genetic material, that is DNA, and protein synthesizing machinery like RNA and ribosomes. So they are capable of multiplication by fission. Now chloroplast, we have to learn it in detail about the internal structure of the chloroplast. Now it is one of the important structure, like important plastids. Okay, and these are present on the leaves of the plants. Fine. So now chloroplast. Each chloroplast is surrounded by two membranes which form chloroplast envelope. Okay. Now each membrane is 5 to 6 nanometer thick and possesses a unit membrane structure. Now the membranes enclose a fluid space. That space is known as matrix or stroma, in which is suspended a system of membranes. Okay. Now the membrane system consists of many flattened fluid filled sacs which are called as thylakoids. At intervals, these thylakoids are stacked like a pile of coins, forming grana. Each grana is 0.2 to 0.6 micrometer in diameter, and there are about flattened thylakoids which are, like, if you have to say, each grana may have 2 to 100 small flattened thylakoids. So various grana are joined together by thylakoids called intergranal lamellae or stroma lamellae. Okay. So this was about the structure of the internal structure of the chloroplast. If you have to talk about the function, it is the most important function is what? Photosynthesis. That is, it traps the radiant energy of sunlight and transform it into chemical energy. So which is stored in the form of starch in plant cells. So it involves through process. One is light reaction and one is dark reaction. Now light reaction that happens in the membrane system, while dark reaction that takes place in the stroma. Fine. Next is about the ribosomes. Now ribosomes, where does it occur? They are small organelles which are found in all types of cells. Now in prokaryotes, it is scattered in the cytoplasm. So they are of 70S type, which contains subunits of 30S and 50S, while in eukaryotes, they are also scattered in cytoplasm and attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. So they are of 80S type, containing subunits of 60S and 40S. Okay. So if you have to go with the structure of the ribosomes, each ribosome consists of two subunits. One is large subunit and one is small. Okay. So the large is generally dome shaped and the small subunit is generally oblate or ellipsoid or a cap-like structure. Okay. Now these ribosomes are composed of approximately equal amount of RNA and proteins. Okay. With little amount of lipids as well. Now if you talk about the function, of the ribosomes, both the subunits of ribosomes unite together at the time of protein synthesis. Fine. That is, during protein synthesis, many ribosomes are attached to a single strand of mRNA like beads on a string. So rather than one ribosomes moving along mRNA is a messenger RNA. Okay. Number of ribosomes move simultaneously along the mRNA, forming a polyribosome or a polysome. Fine. So this was about the ribosomes. Then we have to move ahead with the cytoskeleton. Now this cytoskeleton is, when viewed under the electron microscope, cells seems to contain a complex network of fibrous structure in the cytoplasm. So they form the structural framework within a cell and maintain the shape of the cells. So they give the ability to eukaryotic cells to adopt a variety of shapes. Now they are associated with the movements by or within the cells. So the types of cytoskeleton are of three. One is microfilament, second is microtubules, and the third is intermediate filament. Now when I talk about the microfilament, they are very long and thin. Okay, about 5 to 8 nanometer in diameter. Fine. They form a network in the cytoplasm. So if you have to talk about the function, they are known to play a major role in cell motion or changes in cell shape. So they are associated with cellular movements, which is a whole cell and within the cell, like contraction, crawling, formation of cellular extension, etc. They're also responsible for some muscle contraction. Okay. Now when I talk about the second type, that is microtubules, they are unbranched, hollow and cylindrical in shape. Okay. The wall is made up of helically arranged chain, which is known as tubulin, which is a globular protein. Okay, tubulin, which is a globular protein. Now they can occur either singly or in bundles in cytoplasm. Now if I have to talk about the function, they form the cytoskeleton and are responsible for maintaining the shape of the cell. Okay, it can also participate in the intracellular transport in the non-dividing cell. It can play an important role in movement of cell organelles like sliding motion of chromosomes during cell division. The third one is intermediate filaments. Now they are most durable elements of cytoskeleton in animal cells. So they are made up of tough and durable protein fibers or filaments. Okay, about diameter is about 8 to 10 nanometer. Okay, now what is the function here? They form a basket around the nucleus and are present in cell-cell junction. Now if you have to differentiate the microfilaments and the microtubules, the microfilaments are long, thin and fine filaments, while the microtubules are elongated, hollow and cylindrical tubes. Now what is the diameter for microfilaments? It is 6 to 8 nanometer, while in microtubules it is 25 nanometer in diameter. And which is a protein which is present in microfilament? The protein which is present in microfilament is actin, while in microtubules it is tubulin, right? Next, what is the function here? Microfilament mainly responsible for exocytosis, endocytosis, cell mobility, while microtubules are mainly responsible for movement of chromosomes, intracellular transport, then formation of centrioles, cilia and flagella. Okay. So this was about the cytoskeleton. So here I have completed some concepts of ribosomes, of cytoskeleton, mitochondria, plastids. So kindly go through it properly, study well. Thank you so much.